Hey, how's it going? Happy Saturday. Wow. Wow. How's everyone doing? Hype train. Man, hype train on the intro. I love it, man. Thank you guys so much. How's everyone doing? Happy Saturday. Making sure I have the right mic on. I think last time my microphone was wrong. So I think I got it right this time. Man, hype train. These lights have been flashing nonstop. Thank you guys so much, man. I really appreciate it. But yeah, how are you guys doing? Happy Saturday. What are you guys working on? I think someone mentioned that I never say what I'm working on. Actually, I do. I start out with that. I start out with that every single time. First, I ask you guys the questions, what you guys are working on. And then from there, I usually talk about what I'm working on. And I forgot to open up something, so give me 1 second just so I can see all the events that are going on. There's so much going on right now. I love it. Thank you guys so much. So first of all, apologize. I've been out the last 2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, I had a couple of things going on that I had to take care of. Couldn't move around. And then this last Saturday, I was actually in Las Vegas. I took a little vacation. It was my wife's birthday, and we decided we're just gonna get out of here and do something. We haven't been anywhere in like I don't know, year and a half, 2 years. She has been, but I haven't. So that was my first time getting out of Minnesota in almost 2 years. So it was really, really welcome. So I apologize, wasn't around the last 2 weeks, but I'm back. I'm back to normal, whatever the new normal is. And so, yeah, I think you guys have been working on tons of stuff. I see it in Discord, and I kind of been working on some stuff too. As you saw, I released a video a little bit ago, a little bit different than what I usually release, but I wanted to do that because I wanted to do something different for you guys. And it's really just a huge thank you to all of you. Huge thank you. I hit 50,000 subscribers about a week and a half ago, I think. And I just can't thank you guys enough. Also, I can't thank you enough for being here in Twitch and subbing and bits and all of that. None of that is ever necessary, but I appreciate it so much. And all of that goes into helping make my content better, as well as some I donate. But it all goes back, 100% goes back into my channel, either Twitch or YouTube. But yeah, so I've been working on that. And that video took a really long time because it was just, I don't know, whenever it's not technical, like tech demos, how-tos, I get super nervous. I get writer's block. I have to think about what I'm going to actually talk about and tell a story. If you guys have ever given tech demos or presentations or how-tos, tutorials in general, it's generally, I don't want to say easy, but easier than trying to tell a story. At least it is for me. I know what I'm going to use. I know the outcome I want, and I just have to march towards it. Hopefully it works. So this last one was a little bit different. So anyways, I appreciate you guys subscribing, sharing it with your friends, and everything that you've done to make my channel what it is today. It's truly incredible. I can't even believe, like a year and a half ago, I was just starting, and it's already blown up. So I appreciate it. Anyways, long story short, I usually ask you guys what you guys are working on. Super interested, as you saw. Like I feed off your guys' ideas. I feed off your feedback. Anytime you guys give feedback or talk about things you're interested in or things that you're working on, I get energized. I get super energized. So continue to do that. But for me, like I said, I was on vacation, and then I've been doing a lot of maintenance stuff. That's usually what I say, because like Fridays and Saturdays kind of turn like into my maintenance mode because I'm not doing building content or building out this platform that I'm making for content. Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays for me turns into maintenance. Okay, it's how do I support this thing? How do I update this thing? Or how do I, just basically operationalize what I just built. So that's what it's been for me. I have a big move coming up. Not a big move, but my home lab is possibly moving. So that's going to be interesting. It's not moving very far. It's moving only about 10 feet away, but it's presenting some interesting challenges here with my home. I want to move it in this little room that was quote unquote the sauna on the fuse panel. So sauna, yeah, right. My wife and I saw that on the fuse panel. And we're like, probably was a grow room. Anyway, Anyways, I want to move into that little room. There's all kinds of like structural challenges and electrical challenges. I'm going to see if I can, and then wire up some fans and stuff and just shoot that warm air right out in the summertime. So anyways, that. Maybe you'll see something. It would be kind of boring, me moving my whole entire home lab rack, about 10 feet. But there are a lot of challenges, and maybe some challenges you guys will face as you move stuff around. So man, hydrate success. Thank you so much. I'm gonna share this. Yeah, where do I click? There we go. So let's get into there was tons of follows and subscribers here at the beginning. So let me go through those really quick before we start talking about what we're going to talk about today. So first up, Axel. I think Axel followed. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Sigor, Resub, Prime, 9 months. Sigor, how you doing? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. How are you? HomeLab New, how's it going, dude? HomeLab New gifted a tier 1 sub to Sashchensky. Hey, thank you for gifting the sub to him. HomeLab New gifted a tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. Dude, you gifted 15 subs, dude. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're probably back in the UK working. You'll have to let me know. Jenna Ryan. Jenna Ryan has resub, Prime, 9 months. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Mathny, resub. Hey, how's it going? Mathny, tier 1, 9 months, 9 month streak. Hi. Hello. Yes, the lights are working. My bot's working. I did not check the bot. And speaking of, this all comes together. I did not check the bot, but then Mathny, I think Mathny was actually first in the channel. I'll say that now because I accidentally cleared out chat right before I started. It's just a habit. But out of the corner of my eye, when I clicked clear, I could see there was a couple of lines. I was like, oh, great, Ended up being Mathny. Mathny was first, and Mathny was testing my bot, too. First in the channel testing my bot. I didn't even need to test it, but sorry for clearing out chat in the beginning. But thanks for the resub. Really appreciate it. Tech with Andrew, how's it going? Resub, Prime, 4 months. Thank you so much. Chubakawa. I'm going with Cho. Oh, if it's Japanese, then that's usually OU is a long O. But I'm going to go with Chu. Chubakawa. Resub, Prime, 3 months. Thank you so much. And Muhi, I'm going to go with that. Has subscribed to me, tier 1. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, man. Hype train as soon as the intro starts, and it's so awesome. I really appreciate it. I hopefully you guys know that I appreciate it. It's not just lip service. I'm not just saying, hey, thank you. I honestly and truly mean it. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I was sitting here by myself on Twitch and hoping I would get 1 or 2 people in here. So I never imagined that anyone would subscribe or spend their Prime sub or anything on me. So I greatly appreciate it. I always remind myself there were days when I was in this channel with 0 viewers, and that's my fear. Again, I know it'll happen someday, but I'm just gonna enjoy this while it's happening. So anyways, as you can see in my message, I accidentally cleared out chat, so sorry. But Matthew was first in testing my banana. Thank you so much. Weird, oh yeah, it's me. Yeah, that's right. I get confused sometimes. In Discord, a bot replies, but in here, it's me replying. So I might switch that up. I've said that a few times. PC Geek, if he's in here, he's got to keep me honest. He always reminds me, like, the 5-day reminder. And so does iLude. Hey, you need to do this. You said you were going to do it. I'm like, oh yeah, awesome. But thank you guys, and thank you guys for what you do too, for helping to moderate both Discord and here. I appreciate it. Same with you, Manny. I haven't seen Manny. If you know Manny, he chats a lot in Discord. He's gone in ghost mode lately, so no. I just never see his presence, but all of a sudden he's just start chatting, so he appears offline a lot. So you gotta watch yourself and behave in Discord because he's always watching. So Home Lab New first. No, you weren't. Mathny was, but you were super close. Phantom Way, sup? Sigor, hey, how's it going? Yeah, thanks again for the sub. Appreciate it. Salvarius, howdy folks, how's it going? Sashchansky, how's it going? Ella, go. I don't know what that means, but that is a sweet emoji right there, emote. Home Lab New, 1 month at the job. All right, we were just talking about this. Been super intense, but very fun. Yeah, starting a new job is tough all around. I'll read the rest of your comment before I start commenting on it. I found out today my university student card has been deactivated and formally graduating, so I guess I'm officially done. Miss these streams. Good to have you back, Tim. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for noticing that I was gone, and give me crap when I don't reschedule the stream. Give me crap because I should, because it's really important to get you guys together here on this channel, at least on a regular cadence, at least Saturdays, or at least one day out of the weekend, because I switched them around before. But yeah, starting a new job in general is super tough because you have to learn, things about that new job you're starting, the new culture, new team, new names. And then on top of that, it's probably new technology, new processes. It's tough. It's super fun. But it's tough. I've done it quite a few times. But play the new guy card as long as you can. Ride that out because you won't be the new guy. And depending on how they're hiring, they could hire a new person, I should say. They could hire a new person in a couple of weeks. So play that new person card as long as you can. But still crush it and show them you know what you're talking about. But yeah, congrats on the new job. ISO, good day. How's it going? How are you? Sigor, congrats and welcome back. Homeland New, yeah, for sure. Sinless, hello, how's it going? Salvarius, tinkering around with TrueNAS and the new disk array. Nice, yeah, you've been building out, I think you got a couple of new servers that you've been talking about. I've seen it in Discord, super awesome, super interesting. When you say TrueNAS, are you doing TrueNAS Core? Are you doing TrueNAS Scale? Are you jumping on that bandwagon or are you kind of holding off? Curious to know. And which disk array did you get? I think that's something that I missed. Did you get the same one that I have, the NetApp, the DS426? Yeah, curious. Last I checked, or last I saw, you had a couple 1U servers that you were playing with. So yeah, super curious about your disk shelf. I'm always interested in disk shelves. I bought a NetApp DS4246. It's been great, but I'm always kind of like, I'm super interested in the next one that's going to get like deprecated for enterprises so I can snatch it up. Kind of hard right now with Chia mining. Chia mining, mining in general has disrupted a lot of technology. At first it was CPUs, GPUs, and now it's even into hard drives, which is tough. It's tough for us us folks who want to build an NAS now or want a disk shelf because Chia miners are snatching those up too. Especially disk shelves. The disk shelf I got for a little over, I think $275, which was a deal. And it was kind of on the higher side when I bought it. Some people were getting for $200. I thought, oh man, I'm paying $75 more. No way. You look at them now, they're $1,200, something crazy because Chia miners are using them to farm. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but yeah. Dude, Takano, what's up, man? How's it going? Takano, resub, Prime, 13 months, 1 year, and 1 month. Dude, thank you so much. How are you doing, man? I hope you're doing okay. I know you pop into Discord every now and then, but you're always in the stream, so I appreciate it, man. How you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Thank you so much. And then Millerruck followed the channel. Thank you. Thank you so much, and welcome. Sanchowski, always asking what we are working on, but never telling us what he's working on. I saw that as I was going live. I do. I always start out with that. I kind of start out with the weather too, which I should. I totally skipped over the weather because I saw your comment. I was like, I better nail this on what I'm working on and not blab about the weather. But the weather lately has been crazy. It's been crazy hot, crazy dry. Here in Minneapolis, we have wildfires up in Canada that are blowing smoke down here, and it's not just like the seeing the smoke in the sun. It is like I can't even see downtown from my house right now because there's so much smoke, and then there's just this kind of smoky, I don't know, smell ish in the air. And it's pretty crazy, but hopefully everybody's staying safe. But it's been hot and dry, I think almost everywhere. We really need some rain. We really need some rain across the U.S. for sure, especially around where the forest fires are. But yeah, it's been hot and dry. And we had a cool front come in yesterday. It was just like it was 82 out, and I was like, oh, this is so great. And I don't think I've ever said that 82 felt nice ever in my life, but I did yesterday. So yeah, HomeLab New tier. Oh, I gifted us up. Thank you so much. Let's see. Sinless. I'm currently setting up high availability K3S. All right. Let me know how that goes. I know a couple things about that. I still have mine set up. Mine's still set up, still running. There are a few things of mine that aren't true HA yet. I need to kind of figure some stuff out. My load balancer. that all the nodes communicate with isn't HA. And so I know that there have been some attempts to move that load balancer inside Kubernetes. I think Adrian Goins had a video on that, which was pretty awesome. I haven't done that yet. I think I need to, because now, the weakest link in my HA K3S or Kubernetes is my load balancer. And, if I reboot that machine that the load balancer is running on, none of Kubernetes is really working until it comes back up. So that's not HA. Anyways, things you'll have to either discover or find out about when you try to do that. So Sinless, let me know. Homeland New, ooh, is it a ooh or oh? I'm gonna go with ooh. Salvarius, Techno Tim, about your cable management. You need me to send you some Velcro? I know, people get me on my cable management. I'm not gonna make excuses, but I'm about to make excuses. What you saw today was, I tidied up before I did that shot. I'm like, doesn't look too bad, but I'll still get called out in my cable management. It's just tough. If you think about, I have 3 monitors here, a Windows machine here, and then a camera that's up here, a microphone that's here, a microphone that's here, 2 lights that are up there, and then a Stream Deck, and then everything's kind of plugged into that. And then I have to charge devices outside of just plugging them into USB. So I have a charger. So there's all of that. And then on top of that, I have my MacBook here for work that you can't see, that's underneath one of my monitors, that everything needs to kind of connect to too. And so I have to toggle buttons, toggle USB hub, and then toggle my camera from Zoom or from my Windows PC to my Mac PC, my Mac PC. Yeah, it is. To my MacBook, so that I can switch for Zoom conferences. It's crazy. I would love to, I don't know. I would totally pay for someone to do some cable management consulting. Because it's tough. Like I've done it before where I've zip tied everything and then I end up cutting them. And then I've done where I've gone the twisty tie route and then I end up undoing them, or they snap, or I add things. And I just wish there was a better way to be a little more flexible with my cables, because it's not, it's dynamic. I might bring in another device, tomorrow that I need to plug in, that I need to get to. I also need a bigger desk too. I realize that, this slab of wood that I have is pretty good. It's about 5 feet, but I want like an 8 or a 10-foot desk so I can spread things out. It's kind of like MKB HD. He has, I think he has a gigantic desk, and I want that. I want a really long, wide desk and mount on my standing legs. So anyways, yeah, I'll take the Velcro. No, I have a spool of Velcro. I want to consult with someone who does like cable management professionally, and just like show them my cables and say, help me, give me some tips. Oh, yeah, it's totally fine. You troll me all you want, because I deserve it. When you see those things, call them out. I love it. Home Lab New, been trying to set up my R720 remotely, but it fails on Grub installation. So strange. Yeah, that's tough. Oh, I have seen that before. So I've noticed this. It's funny you say that, because I have seen that before. Sometimes when I spin up new Ubuntu machines, whether virtual or physical, it just like fails. It just like fails and gives some cryptic message, and I'm just like, what are you even talking about? Like, I just did this 5 minutes ago on another virtual machine. What I've learned from that is I grab the alternative installer that doesn't pull down as much, I guess, over the wire while it's installing, and it has most of what it needs in that ISO to at least get you a good install, and then you can do the updates after that. I found that after switching to the Ubuntu alternative installer, like, everything has been fantastic. So if you're running into that, find it. It's actually really hard to find too. They like hide that thing. They do not want you to find the alternative install of Ubuntu. So anyways, I'm making assumptions that it's Ubuntu because you mentioned Grub, so I'm assuming it's Linux. But if you're doing that, if you're doing any flavor of Debian or Ubuntu, find the alternative installer and try it that way. And yeah, I think you'll never go back to the regular installer. And it's not that anything's wrong with the regular installer. It's just like when it fails, you just wasted, 10, 15 minutes of your time, where the alternative installer just works 100% of the time. I don't know. That's what I learned. That's the only ISO now that I keep on my Proxmox server is the alternative one. So give that a shot. Home Lab New, using Debian, using the Debian 11 release candidate 2 installer for Proxmox 7. Is the full version of Debian out yet? I think so. Using Debian 11, release candidate 2. I think so. I mean, isn't that part of the kernel update that was part of Proxmox and part of this release? I thought so. Let me know if I'm wrong. Best V. Hi. Hello. Mr. Grigson. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Let's see. Sinless. I'm following your K3S tutorial. Thank you so much. Yeah, let me know if you run into any issues, or ping me in Discord for sure, because that one's, I wouldn't say complicated, but there's a lot of gotchas, like the one I mentioned earlier about the load balancer. That can be a gotcha. MySQL can also be a gotcha too. Because if you want true HA, your MySQL should also be HA. But you don't need it right off the bat. You can make it HA later. ZG Driver, hello from Brooklyn. Hello from Minneapolis. How's it going? Kai, oh hey there. How's it going? Salvarius, your new video, was that a pic of Red Rock or Valley of Fire? Yeah, Salvarius. So I was in your backyard. That was actually Red Rock. It was Red Rock Canyon. Yeah, we when we went to Vegas, we decided to take a little trip outside of Vegas to Red Rock Canyon. My wife had done this electrical e-bike tour there years ago, and she told me next time we go, we should totally do this. So she scheduled it. She's awesome at scheduling stuff and finding stuff to do. I'm just along for the ride. But yeah, it was Red Rock, and it was so awesome. It was so awesome. Like, you know, I've been to Sedona and other places in Southwest, and like, don't get me wrong, those places are beautiful, but like by day 3, you just see so much red. You're just kind of overseeing red. Like, you feel like you're on Mars. Same thing with Denver. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need to see other colors. The nice thing about Las Vegas and Red Rock, you'd actually see red rock, and then you'd also see limestone. So you'd see a lot of different colors. Limestone, almost the color of this shirt. So you see lots of variants of color. So it was super nice. Like, I was so surprised that Red Rock Canyon was so beautiful and so close to Las Vegas. If you ever go out to Las Vegas, take a trip out there, because it's super close, and it's so incredible. Homeland New, Tim, have you have transcoding on the stream? All right, I don't know why Twitch picked me this day today, but I'm glad they did. That means more people on mobile will be happier. 1, because they can transcode, and 2, because then they'll be using less data, and you can use less data too if you want. Cyborg Onum. Cyborgium, that's it. Hi Tim, do you handle backups? How do you handle backups? I thought it was just like, do you? Yeah, I do. How do I? Where do you back up and how? Service, etc. I want to back up to Backblaze through TrueNAS, but I'm not sure how to get my VMs containers to TrueNAS. I can't decide between ZFS snapshots, doing a Proxmox backups, NFS share, rsync dump, TrueNAS, etc. Yeah, big topic. I could probably summarize most of what I do fairly quickly. I should probably make a video on it, but mine's pretty custom. Where do I begin? Okay, so how do I back up virtual machines? Well, first I have to think about, why would I back up virtual machines? For a long time, I didn't back up virtual machines, like the whole entire machine, because I've had this mantra that I'm only going to back up critical, non-replaceable data. And I have changed a little bit, but so my mindset was always, I'm only going to back up critical, non-reproducible data. Can I reproduce a whole entire virtual machine and its hard drive? Yes. And so a lot of the times I wouldn't back up virtual machines, because I would say, I can reproduce that virtual machine. What makes that virtual machine special? And it's usually some service running on it that has some kind of config. And so I think in my head, I can reproduce that service, I can reproduce that virtual machine, but I can't reproduce that config. So I would back up that config. And so for a long time, that's all I did. It's like spear fishing. You know, I wasn't casting a wide net and backing up everything. I was spear fishing and poking out the things that I wanted to back up. Luis Correa, I can't do that. Correa. Hey, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it, Luis. Or I don't know if it's Luis or Luis, but I know someone whose name is spelled that same way, and he says Luis. So thank you so much. Thanks for the sub. So virtual machines, anyways. So what I just told you is what I used to do, and I think it's a good practice to do that, because then you end up with less backups. But then your restoration time is a lot longer. If you need to restore a virtual machine, then you got to restore, a virtual machine, get the service back on it, get the OS back on it, the service back on it, and then the config back on it. And so you may or may not want to spend that time doing that. So that's when I started moving towards, okay, I'm just going to take snapshots of the virtual machines. And so the way I do it is I back them up to an NFS share. So on all of my Proxmox nodes, I added an NFS share, which is TrueNAS. And then I back up all of the machines on a schedule. I don't do them every day. It's too much churn for me. Because like I said, like most of the time, 90% of my machines are totally dumb because they're Kubernetes nodes, and Kubernetes nodes is, they get all of their state from the control plane or from the Kubernetes database, which is housed on another machine, one of the master nodes, and that's actually backed up separately. So anyways, long story short, I back them all up a couple times a week. I think I do like Monday, Wednesday, Saturday or something weird. And I keep those for only a couple days, and then I'll do one weekly snapshot that I keep those for a while. And then I don't even do a monthly. Because like I said, my nodes are mostly dumb to where they're running Kubernetes. For the ones that aren't, for the ones that are, say, running like a plain old Docker host, that's where I have a little bit of custom backup going on. So on those, I actually back up all of their data folders, because all of those containers have, they bind mount to a node or to a folder on the machine. And then I basically gzip all that data in all of those folders, tar it up, and then I ship that off to TrueNAS again, which is my NFS share. So I have another folder where it's like, okay, grab all the configs from all of my Docker containers, my single instance Docker containers, zip it up and ship it off to TrueNAS. So then that takes care of, Linux machines. That takes care of my both Docker and Kubernetes. And then I do another backup of just that database daily, which is super tiny. I mean, it's like not even 1 megabyte of the database, but I do that daily. Because it's easy and because I get it, not for free, but I get it really easy with Rancher. Windows machines, kind of sort of the same. On Windows machines, I do not take full snapshots or backups or anything because they're kind of dumb too. They're there to run some services. And with those, I'm like, I'm not going to keep 40 gigs of data per machine backed up. So for those, I take the spear phishing approach and I say, what on you can I not reproduce? It's usually a config file or config files or data files. And I do the same thing, zip those up, ship those off to TrueNAS. So how do I get my data offsite then? That one's a little more interesting. I kind of do this roundabout thing. So I do use Backblaze. I do for sure. And that's running on one of my hosts, and I back things up to Backblaze. But then I have to script and kind of shuffle things around so that, those files get into that folder that Backblaze backs up. And that's really all it is. So it's kind of a two-step, get data to TrueNAS, and then from TrueNAS, get those to a folder that Backblaze backs up, and then it's all backed up. But the stuff that goes to Backblaze is really DR stuff, disaster recovery. Again, it's that spear phishing stuff. It's not a whole entire VMs. It's all of those configs that I need. Basically non-reproducible data like photos, documents, and then config files for all of my servers. So anyways, I could talk about this for a long time. Maybe it warrants a video. So sorry I spent a ton of time on it. I know you guys are all probably either bored or interested. So yeah, let me know. But I've come up with my own process. I wish I had a great backup solution where I'm like, I run this backup solution. I install this agent, even though I don't really like agents. Backups are the one time where I kind of do like agents. I install this agent and I just schedule it, set it and forget it. No, it's a lot of custom scripting, a lot of scheduling, and then a lot of checking. I got to check in like 4 or 5, 6 places to make sure things are getting backed up and sent to the right place. And I do that. I mean, I should do it more often, but I check about once every 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, is that, file still getting, created here? And it is. And I see the timestamp on it. And then the last part of all that is cleaning up that stuff too, right? Because when I gzip and archive that stuff, I still have to figure out, okay, well, which I had the other day, one of my nodes was like, I'm out of storage, I can't do anything. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? You got like 40 gigs. And I look and it didn't have any. It's because, I had a bunch of archives that I had been zipping and keeping on the local disk for 4 months. And then so I had to write another script to say only keep the last 10, whatever, that's good enough. 10 days worth of stuff local that gets backed up to Backblaze anyways. And I'll have more revisions there for 30 days and I'll have 10 local. That's good enough. So anyways, yeah, awesome. So backups are not easy, not fun, but once you get them, they kind of are set it and forget it. And the way that I've designed mine, at least for my Docker host, it's always looking in one folder where all my bind mounts are. So if I add another bind mount tomorrow, it's going to get added and lumped in and gzipped and shipped off and backed up again. So I'd love to talk more about it. Like I said, I could maybe write a video or we could talk about it in Discord too, for sure. Or I could share my scripts. I have no secrets. Well, I have some, if they're passwords. Other than that, I'm an open book. Home Lab New, yeah. Oh my gosh, Prophet and Lily and Thronoble. Hi, sorry I got your name wrong. That's a super long name, but how are you? Choo Choo, yeah, Hype Train. Sigor, moving it would still be a good vlog style video. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my home lab, yeah. I've been kind of thinking about it. It's not to the point where I can move it yet, but maybe I will. We'll see. Because then you'll get to see, I guess, how my server rack has evolved. Because there's been a lot going on since I built it, and only a few videos in between. Sigor doing well. Hello, Tim. How's it going? Sinless. Funny enough, I have the same name as you. All right, Tim, Sinless. All right, 2 Tims in the house. All right, like it. It's either that or Techno, but I'm betting it's Tim. Get wrecked, boop. How's it going? iDemon 360. How's it going? Just got my first Raspberry Pi 4. Any recommendations of what to do with it? Yeah. So I have a Pi 4. I have Pi 4 3 2 0. No ones. There's so many things you can do with it. I'll tell you some of the jobs for mine. One is right back there. So that's a LED display panel that I built so that Raspberry Pi, it's a Pi 2, used to run Pi-hole, but then after I moved Pi-hole into my home lab, then this became its job. One of the cool things about Raspberry Pis, there's so many things you can do with them that if you retire its job, it can still do other work. So one's running a LED display, one's running Kubernetes, one's running RetroPie. My Pi Zeros are just, they're basically keep my network alive. I have a little script that a few people have helped out with here on GitHub, but I have a little script that pings all of my servers. If they're offline, it's going to send a wake on LAN packet. If it still doesn't respond after all that, it's going to reboot itself and do the same thing. Refresh its network, ping the servers, send a wake on LAN packet, and it just does it all day long. I mean, that's its only job for a Pi Zero. It's this tiny. And that's what it does. And there's a few times it's saved my butt. Like when the power goes out and my UPS drains, and then when it comes back on, sometimes the server doesn't come back on, but my Pi does. And so that's its job, just to make sure all of my other servers are alive when they should be. But so many things you could do. I mean, you could even, install a desktop version of Ubuntu or whatever you want, and run that. I tend to lean towards, server-based stuff or services, like that one. That one's super fun because it connects physical stuff along with services I wrote. So it's running Node, and then executes some C to actually turn that light on right there. And I connect an LED panel. So super fun. There's so many things you could do with them, but server / something, Kubernetes, or even RetroPie are fun and easy ones to kind of get set up. Yeah, but good question. Mr. Grigson. There we go. What the hell are the subscription levels? In IRC times, everything was much simpler. Yeah, it's subscription levels are, at least on Twitch. YouTube has them too. I think everyone does, most people. Just a different tier. There's different tiers. On Twitch, I think there's 1, 2, 3. Prime is also 1. If you have Amazon Prime, it's free. And then there's 2 and 3, and it's just different levels to support someone who's creating content on that platform. And then with that, you get different rewards, mostly emotes, because I don't think they figured out a lot. Most subscription-based things haven't figured out other things you can do with them. I'm sure they figured them out, but they're not highly adopted. But yeah. Muhi, love your videos. Thank you so much. Home Lab New, back in the UK. Awesome. Mafni, Manny is on DSL. Home Lab New, don't worry about the views, Tim. People will always come for good and interesting stuff, which you make in abundance. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I was talking a little bit about some of my fears when I first started streaming. It came true, which was, just streaming by myself. And now I'm just so thankful and surprised that people show up to my streams. And I can't thank you enough. I know that day will come again, but just going to enjoy it. Just going to enjoy this while it's happening. Get wrecked. I get the new guy card for 5 years, and I only have 2 left. Yeah, play the new person card as long as you can. You just be like, oh, I'm new here. I didn't know that's what we were supposed to do. I'm kidding. It's kind of tongue in cheek, but it's always fun, to razz the new person or give them extra breaks because of the new person. Even if you've been there for 5 years, you're still the new person. That's totally fine. Sinless, what suggestions do you have for K3S load balancing with Kemp? I haven't used Kemp. I hear Kemp a lot. I haven't used it. I don't have any suggestions. The only load balancer, Kubernetes load balancer that I've used to load balance Kubernetes nodes is Nginx. That's really the only one that I've used personally, where I didn't create the cluster, where I actually created the cluster myself. Yeah, I don't know anything about Kemp. That comes up, I'd say, about once a month. Someone asks about it, and I Google it, and I'm like, yeah, this looks pretty awesome. And then it just kind of fizzles away because I haven't found a way to apply it yet, at least for me. But I'll do some more research for sure. Let's see, Sinless. I was planning on using a VIP. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. I think that should work. I think that'll work. But I don't know if you could use that VIP though for your Kubernetes nodes load balancer. So that's like the K3S internal load balancer, so that all K3S nodes know how to communicate with each other. A little bit different than your external load balancer or your ingress controller from the outside world in. That might be your VIP, I assume. I don't know what your setup is, but typically that's an IP you get from your hosting provider. That's a publicly routable. You still need one internally though, so that all of those machines can communicate with each other, I think. Biotoxin. I made my own shelf with MakerBeam and upright track. Nice. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Home Lab New, moving to Camden in a few months. Going to be very interesting. Oh man, already moving and shaking. Techno, pretty good. Been messing around a lot with 1090 megahertz and ADS-B and 978 megahertz UAT. You have the most interesting projects every time you come in here. I'm just like, I learned so much just by, one line of chat when you come here, Techno. Well, I hope you're doing well. Eric Rodriguez, Sep. That's what I'm going with. Hey, how's it going? Swedish, just got my first developer job. Congratulations. So excited. Also working on an automated Twitch stream recorder for archiving reasons. Oh, I like it. Yeah. So you can basically archive your Twitch streams yourself instead of relying on them to archive them. Or maybe you're going to let them archive it temporarily and then you pull it down from them. But that sounds super interesting. I let them archive them, then I export them to YouTube to another channel that I have. But I like it a lot. I usually, because Twitch has the integration to be able to automatically export to YouTube, and you could even do it to a private channel if you want. So for long-term archiving, but it's not automatic. You got to remember to click that button. But I like this. I like where you're going with that, Swedish. Congratulations on your first developer job. Super exciting. Poggers, what's up? Cool Gam. How's it going? Bill Nash, resub, tier 1, 9 months. Sup, nerds? That's the only thing Bill Nash will ever say. Sup, nerds? How's it going? Bill Nash, how you doing? Eric Rodriguez, Techno Tim, can you make a video about Cloudflare Argo tunnel? I'm curious to do a small home lab, but my ISP blocks 80 and 443. I've heard a ton about Argo. I'll look into it a little bit. I'll have to see how to apply it, but I hear a lot about it. I'll look into it. That's unfortunate. Your ISP blocks port 80 and 443. That sounds like the 90s to me. And I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of your ISP because, like, you know, I mean, if someone wants to host something on 80 and 443, like a website, just let them. I mean, if not, they're going to find a port forward way around it to do it anyways. Always when I hear that, it's super odd to me because that's what ISPs used to do. They used to do that and then make you buy a business account, which was the same exact thing, except for you got a static IP and they open those ports. And it just seems, to me, I mean, maybe there's more behind it. If you work for an ISP, let me know. But I'm just I always question that. I feel like that was just like nickel and diming people to get them to pay more for something that's already overpriced. I need to stop going down this rabbit hole. But yeah, I'll look into Argo for sure. Geekologist sub, Prime sub, thank you so much. How you doing? What are you drinking today? Good question. That was a great reminder for me to take a drink because like after the stream, I'm just like, whoa, I have a full cup of whatever left and I didn't take one sip at all. So let me grab one. So as you guys know, I usually drink bubbly water, not always the brand bubbly, but bubbly water. This is the one I just crushed. So this is Good and Gather pomegranate dragon fruit. If you've never heard of Good and Gather, it's a Target white label, so it's a Target in-house brand. They have relaunched a lot of their bubbly water, and this is an awesome one. This other one I don't have up here, but they also have this hibiscus and something raspberry. Doesn't sound good at all. It's super good. Anyways, I'm kind of back on the bubbly train. Bubbly is how I got into bubbly water. And then I tried Target brand. I tried all these other brands and Waterloo and all. Aha was one that I loved for a while. But now bubbly started making one, better flavors, and two, caffeinated ones. So, I cut back on drinking coffee all day, but then I substitute it with having a little bit of caffeine in my bubbly water. So that's what I'm having right now. It's bubbly bounce, triple berry. It's pretty good. So I can't drink caffeine too late, but during the day it's fair game. But that's what I'm drinking. Yeah, I love bubbly water. I can't get enough of it. And then I usually have a big Nalgene full of regular water here. I used to drink only regular water for years. I would drink like 6 or 7 Nalgenes a day full of water. And now that I discovered bubbly water, I drink a lot less. I probably should. But yeah, for sure. Jenna Ryan, I use Velcro by the roll for keeping things in order. Yeah, I need to find a technique. Send me something in Discord like, hey, here's a good guide on how to just organize wires. Because what happens is, I end up with 3-footers, 6-footers, 9-footers, and then there's all this extra cord, which I need at some point, but not all the time. So Velcro is actually a really good answer to that. Now I have a mini roll somewhere. I got to find it. I just organized my basement, so I should be able to find it a little bit earlier. Biotoxin, build your own desk. Yeah, I don't know if I'm capable of doing that. I'm so bad when it comes to like constructing things, like virtually constructing things. Oh yeah, no problem. Something where I'm like constructing something from scratch, and not so much. But I will say though that I have this standing desk, this sit-stand desk, and I put my own piece of wood on top of it. I didn't build it, but I kind of feel like it did, but I probably didn't. Probably can't say I built it, but I maybe I should someday. But I will at some point if these legs hang in there. They should. There's like 10-year warranty on these things. They're super industrial. Probably put an 8-foot desktop on top of here because I want more horizontal space. And it's not to just like jam more stuff on it. While that does sound awesome, it's just it's too cramped right here. Like my MacBook doesn't need to be here. It's only here because it's the end of my desk. My MacBook could be 4 feet away from me. I don't care because I have cables plugged into it. But I still kind of need it on my desk so I can take it if I need to go. But it doesn't need to be right here. And that's kind of what you saw today on today's video is that everything gets kind of cramped. And maybe they just need some breathing room or I need to get rid of some stuff. But I feel like this is as minimal as I can be for my desk, which is kind of sad. Sashasky, rent a VPS and tunnel stuff for your own. Yeah. Mafney, do these cables spark joy to me? Do these cables spark joy to me? Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. My cables don't. I wish cables didn't even exist. I wish wireless everything was just here and didn't, you know, rely on physics or battery power. It would be awesome. Sinless, I work with an MSP named Managed Integration. I can give you a few pointers for cable management. Yeah, send me some docs or something. Send them somewhere in Discord. That would be awesome. Cool gamers. That's what I'm going. Cool gamer. Would you ever be interested in making ESXi videos? Possibly. I mean, I don't have, you know, I used to run ESXi, so I think I've run most hypervisors, except for XCP-ng. Actually, I did spin that up, and I ended up going with Proxmox. This was a couple years ago. But I am familiar with most hypervisors, especially ESXi. I ran ESXi for a long time, and I'm a huge fan of VMware. I ran VMware Workstation and Desktop a long time ago and did, they had a Vue client, Horizon Vue client, and then an HTML client because the company I worked at used to you know, run VMware. The guy I sat next to used to manage the VDI infrastructure, so I was always his guinea pig, and I was like, yeah, I'll do whatever you have that's new and alpha or pre-release, send it my way. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of VMware, and I would like to make some ESXi videos, but you know, I don't have a ton of hardware where I can just like, I just have this extra server where I'm going to spin up ESXi real quick. To do something. You know, most of the things I build like stay in my environment for a certain period of time. Like I build them with the intention of using them for a specific purpose. I'm making a whole bunch of excuses right now. But the biggest one for me is just their licensing. For me, for a home user, for a home lab user, licensing is just, it's not going to work. And I know a lot of people say, well, you can go to these VMUG groups. I think that's the acronym for it, and get a cheap license, or you can pay, you know, this much for a license. And, you know, it you know, for my home lab and my core count and my socket count, it just doesn't make a lot of financial sense for me to do that. And open source is cool. So, anyways, am I against making them? No, absolutely not. If one day I have a project where it requires it, absolutely, I'm going to use it. But you know, I'd have to use the home version, which limits me to 4 cores per VM, and that's just not fun. It's not fun when you have, you know, 24 threads on one server. You know. So, anyways, not against it. Just need to find the right project for it. I'm going with Dr. Hateball. Dr. Hateball. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Eric Rodriguez, thank you for the suggestion, but I'm thinking of making a home lab spending near zero. Just what I have here in my house. Yeah, that's a good point. Get wrecked and wrecked. The PC Geek. Whoa, man, you saturate your ISP with RGB. Home lab new. All right, but I'm not using normal Proxmox installer because I have a custom partitioning encryption requirement. You were talking about Proxmox earlier. I was going way off in the weeds on that. Debian 11, not yet released. Thank you. Biotoxin. Anyone set up a Pi for a Wake on LAN machine? Yeah, I was just talking about. Seems easy, but first time trying to set it up myself. Yeah, Biotoxin. I have exactly that. My Pi Zero that's its only job is to ping machines and wake them up. So yeah, and PC Geek just mentioned it there. It's in my GitHub. Grab it. It's a pretty bad script. I wrote it myself, and then I had some help from the community. And there were a few pull requests on it to make it a better script, way better than I had before. But yeah, I have one. Very, very, very basic. It's just gonna ping a host. If it can't ping the host, it's gonna wake on LAN. If it can't wake it up and still can't ping it, it's gonna reset its NIC. If it can't ping it after that, it's just gonna reboot itself. And that's what it does all day long. But that's the only thing I need it to do. And it writes it to a log too. And you can set up multiple hosts, just plug them in, I think as environment variables. And yeah, that's the only thing I want it to do. If my server's down, wake it back up because it should never be down. Sometimes that bites me though, because I forget when I shut down my server to do some things that Pi Zero is powering it back on, so I have to unplug that guy sometimes. But yeah, Argo's not free, right? I don't think it is. My GitHub link works. PC Geek, thank you. I don't even remember doing and setting that up, but thank you, and it works. Argo is paid. Argo Tunnel doesn't seem to be paid. Gotcha. Let's go here. Lord Dracoda. Yo, how convenient. I just checked your YouTube secrets video and you're live. Yeah, it was kind of convenient. Today I actually worked on that video up until I think 147 was the exact time I was done. 1:47 when I could schedule it for 2 o'clock. And then because I didn't want to schedule at the same time I was going to go live. So I'm like, 1:47, schedule for 2 o'clock. Sounds good. Hop in the shower. And so I was in the shower while it was launched, and yeah, I came back. But anyways, yeah, it was usually not planned. I most of the times on Saturdays when I release it, it's about 10 or 11 Central Time. But if I'm running late, I'm gonna do it at 2. That's my go no go is 2 o'clock. If I can't get it out by 2, it's gonna be after the stream because I don't want to interrupt that. Debo's, the grandfather, father-son backup strategy. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like it. Similar, I assume. I need to look up that one. I'm assuming it's similar to 321, but maybe not. PC Geek, you can back up a Windows desktop VM if you use VM Agent. Nice. It's free and does a full backup. Nice. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I wonder if on Veeam I can limit it to folders too, because that would be awesome. The only other thing is, like, I hate an agent. Like, the only time I will install an agent on a machine is for backups. So that's awesome. I'll have to check out Veeam. I just hope on like Windows I don't have to. I can pick folders or select folders because I don't need 40 gigs of Windows file system stuff backed up unless it does a dedupe on the server. That's awesome. So if it does the dedupe on the server, or it keeps one copy of files, does some kind of hashing algorithm and keeps one copy of the files, that's awesome, because then I'm not taking up space. Then sure, back up the whole client. So that sounds awesome. I'll have to look at it. Thank you for that tip, PC Geek. Nimzer, would you share a bit about why you don't like agents? Most of the tools agent-based, so curious. Nimzer, nothing more than it's just something that's running, again, on the machine 24/7, taking up cycles and RAM. It's the difference between, I guess, a pull and a push config, right? Or a pull and a push. I'd rather, if you think of something like Ansible, right? Totally agentless, totally powerful, and can do what it can do only by using SSH. And so you say it's agentless, but technically it's using SSH to do stuff. But SSH is on most servers, so. But there is an agent running to do stuff. And so, there are times when I do like agents and times when I don't. Backup, most of the time I do. For like metrics and monitoring and analytics, I absolutely do not. I don't need something else running that's like looking at the logs to then ship those logs off somewhere else. I'll usually configure SMTP traps or pull. It's either pull the logs off of it or from that machine push those logs somewhere else, and same with any kind of metrics and stuff like that. So not totally against it. It's just maybe it's in the 2000s and stuff like that. I was kind of like everything had an agent, and by the end of the day, you'd end up with one server with like 6 agents on it to do these things. And I think for most things, for a lot of things though, they might not require an agent because they might have native capabilities to do that thing themselves, like ship logs or have that server pull logs, one or the other. So it's pull or push, and then if you can't, an agent. So again, like I haven't been managing a lot of servers at the enterprise level, so maybe agents are still the way that people are going. I just, when I used to do that stuff, I was just like, oh, another agent, it was just like, let's install 10 things on this server on a brand new server. And I was just, it just never set well with me. But so I'm curious what agents then you have to install on servers. I'm sure there's lots of valid use cases. I don't mean to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but it was kind of, back in the day, I was just kind of like, I got burned out on them. And not that they didn't serve a purpose. It's just we had a lot of agents at some of the places that it worked. And that's just more RAM, more processing on every single machine, and one more thing to update on all of those machines. If you have 2, 3, 4,000 servers, that's a full-time job for someone to manage that agent and push it out. And ones that are broken, some get broken, and then you got to write some other script to go and or use WSUS or some other kind of software deployment system to go and fix that agent and upgrades. And it's just that whole rigmarole, times every system that needs an agent is just a lot of thrashing, I feel like, but I could be wrong. Nothing against it. Just had bad experiences in the past. So Nimzer, hopefully that answers your question. Let's see, get rec to rec. I just use a Pi 4 for Steam Link. Nice. Should I run other services? But I didn't think of what else yet. Nice. No, Steam Link, fantastic use case for it. I have a Steam Link machine still from Steam. I still use it. Fantastic use case for it. Steam Link, I didn't even mention that one. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you could go RetroPie on it too, but then if you're using Steam Link, you could stream your desktop to that machine, and then why even have a RetroPie on there too? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There's probably lots of things it could do while you're not playing games and streaming to it that would be, I feel like, pretty awesome. Techno, set up an ADS MP feeder. Yeah, you are all over this, man. What's IRCs? Yeah, Internet Relay Chat. Yeah. Techno, almost 15K channel points. All right. What's my deadline? So when would you spend channel points? 20K? Because if it's 20K, then that buys me a little bit of time to come up with a 20K reward that's actually awesome. And some technology built behind it, not just a button you press. I have ideas. I just have to build the thing, which I need some time. But man, 15K channel points. I still never forget the day you spent 1,000 for something that now costs, I think, 100 or something. Or no, 10,000 that now costs 1,000. So I apologize. DZ, hey Tim, do you have any suggestions for installing Docker using Rancher on Ubuntu 2004? Do I have any suggestions for installing Docker for using Rancher on 2004? DZ, no, other than Rancher has a bunch of Docker install scripts on their site, on their GitHub site. If you go there, they have an install script for Ubuntu 2004. And then find the latest one in there. If you go through their scripts, you'll see it'll be like 1809, 1810, I'm making these numbers up, but you'll see a script in their GitHub folder and run that script. And that script will actually grab the latest supported version of Docker for Rancher and install it for you. It's actually super simple. But then you got to worry about, is apt going to update Docker outside of this? Yeah, it will. And not a huge deal. Sometimes Rancher will warn and say, you're running an unsupported version of Docker. I have yet to see that actually cause a problem, but they can only test a certain amount of versions of Docker and certify them. So anyways, my suggestion to you is grab that script from Rancher's GitHub repo. I think in their documentation, they have a hyperlink that says scripts. You click on that, it brings you to GitHub. And run one of those scripts on the machine. That'll install the latest supported version of Docker, as long as you grab the latest script, and then you go from there and install Rancher. Should be pretty easy. Sly Human, how's it going? Hi Techno Tim. One question: how do you do Kubernetes? Do you have it on top of virtual machines using Proxmox? Yeah, exactly that. That's exactly how I do Kubernetes. So all of my Kubernetes nodes are virtual machines. So I don't do them inside of an LXC container. I know some people have figured it out. I've considered it before, but that's kind of running a container within a container, which is totally fine if it works. I just took the approach of I'm gonna make these virtual machines and then install K3s on top of those. One, so I can move them around. I know I could do that with LXC and a Proxmox cluster. Yeah, no problem. But I can move them around if I ever switch to ESXi. We were talking about ESXi earlier. Not that I would do that or that's coming, but I can move things around. And plus, I don't know. Maybe it's old school, but I just like having a virtual machine. And they're really dumb. They're just running K3s that I can manage the same way I would manage everything else. I wish there was an easy way to do. If something could run, my containers natively, that would be super awesome. And it would be cool to run K3s or inside of LXC, but I just haven't gone down that path. It just sounds like I'm gonna, I know some people have figured it out. Nothing wrong with it. I just haven't put the brain power into it and figured out if that's something like I want to support within all the quirks. Because I know how virtual machines work. I know how Ubuntu 2004 works. I know how to manage it. I know how to back it up. I know, I understand that really well. So for me, always a virtual machine. There are absolutely a lot of use cases for LXC. You could use it instead of Docker a lot of times, or you could use it instead of a full virtual machine sometimes. But for something that's going to also run a containerization engine, you know, for me, it's easier to put it inside a virtual machine instead of containerizing a containerizing engine. PC Geek, DZ, SSD apt repo for Docker. Yeah. Mafney, Sly Human, he does. Mafney, thanks. Chicano, I bought a 1090 megahertz receiver with an amp and filter, and now I'm looking for one of those 987 megahertz. Man, sup nerds, Bill Nash. Let's see here. Man, I know. So lately I've been trying to keep the stream to roughly an hour, mainly because I want to be conscious of your guys' time. I have a little bit more time today, so but I am gonna look for direct mentions. What am I saying? Usually I wrap up right about now, but I'm going to go on a little bit longer because lots of stuff coming this way. Sly Human, Techno Tim, have you tried OpenStack? I have not. I'm familiar with it. Have I run it before? I have not. But you know that, hyper-converged infrastructure, HCI, I think, right? Sounds pretty awesome to me, and I think that's the future. But I'm familiar with OpenStack. I haven't used it yet. Would love to set something up at some point, maybe, because it sounds pretty cool. PC Geek, business cable usually costs more too. Yeah, all right. I need less cables in my life. DBots, Techno Tim, any plans on using iPixie? I've been using it to auto-install Ubuntu VMs on top of Proxmox and then leveraging Puppet to auto-install services per node. I like it. So iPixie, any plans on using iPixie? No, it sounds awesome. I used to do, when I did a lot of desktop support and even some server stuff and server builds, I always used Pixie Boot, and I'd boot to this machine, then I would then image these machines, and then those machines would auto-join the domain, and then they would automatically get software. So for me, it was as simple as not even hitting F12. It was going in this console, putting in its MAC address, and just saying go. And then getting a fully imaged machine up and joined to the domain, within a half hour or so. It was awesome. And this is what I'm talking about. This is way back. So I do want some of that in my life at some point. I just don't know enough about iPixie. Like, I get it. Like, you're going to Pixie boot something, you're going to deploy some kind of image to it, and then it's going to install an operating system and then configure, and then I assume you use Puppet then, or you could use anything to install services or bring it up to your infrastructure or your environment's standard config. It sounds awesome. I haven't done it. Sounds awesome though. Skrillaflex, Argo and Argo Tunnel are bundled together. You just pay for the traffic. Interesting. Bill Nash, doing all right, putting in some time into the RV lab office, working on squeezing my main workstation into the smallest EATX box I could find, and the routing and the heat exhaust into my existing ductwork. Like it. Got automatic UPS grateful shutdown working when I'm transitioning power if I don't want downtime. Gonna recable and work out 12-volt power for my infrastructure elements next. That sounds awesome. Piping your heat back into your home sounds awesome. I need to do some of that. I got some of those ideas going with my home lab and moving it into the grow room. It's not really a grow room. I don't want the feds coming in like knocking down my door. No, there's this room in my house that says sauna, but it doesn't look like a sauna was ever there. So I'm like, what else? What would you write on your fuse box if you had a grow room? Anyways, it's not important. But I want to do something like that, so I might tap into you, or I would love for you to share like your process, or at least pictures, so I can get some ideas, because I do need to reroute some heat only during summer months. During winter months, I want to close it off and just say, yeah, you reuse this heat to heat this space. So it sounds awesome. Quantum Penguin has subscribed tier 1, 7 months. Thank you so much, Quantum Penguin. How you doing? Here's an idea. Put a hydrate reminder for the channel points. Yeah, I should. Thank you. And it helps if you point the can the right way. Thank you. I totally should, because I totally forget. Like I said, after the stream, I'm like, I think I drank like all this water, and I pick it up, and it's still as heavy as it was when I bring it in. PC Geek, you beat me to the suggestion. Yeah, I should. Maybe it'll be a cheap channel points. We'll see. Yeah, because then it would bubble up. I like it. Or I could make a little GIF of water drops back on that screen back there. I like it. I like the idea. I like where this is going. We should talk some more in Discord about what we can do. PC Geek, I like Bubbly Bounce. I do too. Just got home. just got me some AHA. I was like, AHA, what is that? AHA 3-pack for $8 with a coupon. Yeah, 3 packs for 8. Oh, so 3, yeah, 3 the little cases. That's a smoking good deal. Yeah, I love AHA so much. They used to have this flavor, cherry coffee, that was caffeinated. It was the first caffeinated bubbly water I ever drank. It sounded like the weirdest flavor ever, but it was so good, and now I cannot find it anymore. I don't know if it's been discontinued, but I'm still a huge fan. AHA is still my number one. It's like bubbly and Good and Gather, Target's brand, are kind of catching up. Now. Bill Nash, cooking up a Raspberry Pi to GPIO switch bank interface for controlling a set of relays so I can bring things up and down cleanly from a switch panel over to the driver's seat. I like it. I did some GPIO pin stuff. It was super complicated for me, but man, it sounds like you know what you're doing. ISO, there's a soft drink called Ubuntu Cola. Some Fair Trade Foundation stuff. I like it. Imagine not drinking coffee. Yeah, tell me about it. I would be I'm a different person when I don't have coffee, especially in the morning, for sure. Funny thing is, when I was in Las Vegas, I probably drank a third less of the caffeine I normally do. I just drink 1 cup in the morning, and then like by evening, I'm like, whoa, how did I get this far without all the coffee I usually drink when I work from home? So, yeah. PC Geek, if you were closer, Tim, I built your desk. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I know you're super handy. You know what you're doing when it comes to constructing things. Not me, not so much. PC Geek, I built one for my wife. Nice, dude. Nice. Yeah, I think I remember you saying that in Discord, but you should show me some pictures for sure. Gunny92, I have a 6-foot desk. When I have my work laptop on it, plus monitors, plus desk, it gets cramped. An 8-foot would be ace. Thank you, Gunny. That's exactly what I'm saying. This is about almost 6 feet. You know, I have 3 monitors. My desktop isn't even on this desk. I put it on this cart. Target accidentally sent me this cart, and then I was like, hey, you guys sent me this on accident. And I was like, how should I return it to you? And they're like, just keep it. I'm like, okay. Anyways, this little bar cart that's next to my my desk actually worked out super good, but my PC's on there. And I still don't have enough room. I think a lot of it has to do with that. I have to pull my monitors a little bit closer, probably because of my eyes. But, you know, I kind of like sitting, you know, at a arm's length away from my monitors, not any closer, not any further. But yeah, 8-foot would be the dream, I think, for a desk. Then I'll probably like, oh, I wish I had a 10-footer. But I'm pretty close to this wall over here. So if I go anything above 8 feet, then it's going to slide me over, which may or may not be okay. But yeah, I like it. Get wrecked. Bill Nash might do that with my old Pi. I'm replacing with my old laptop from college. Nice. Yeah, so many great uses for Pis after they're once you find something else for them. Hey, the Twitch Authority. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Hey, Tim, glad to see you. I just started my first dev job. Hey, Garrus, congratulations. Thanks for all your kind and motivating words. No problem. And your party parrot is probably the best one I've ever seen. This is like dark mode party parrot. How do I get this? Because I need to get it. Oh, it's so awesome. It's like laser light show party parrot. Anyways, congratulations on your job. Yeah. Anytime you need some help, ping me anywhere and I'll try to respond to it and I'll try to find it if notifications are on. But congratulations. It's super fun. Play the new person card as long as you can. It's hard to do when you're a developer because they expect results immediately. I've known that from a lot of jobs. It's most times I've started as a new developer, I try to commit code on day one, just because it's kind of been my track record. And even if it's fixing some documentation, just because committing code on day one means you have your whole entire environment set up, as well as all your SSH keys and whatever you use for source control working. So commit code on day one. Surfix, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Bill Nash, I got a breadboard and a prototype, but it doesn't look too bad. A physical button to trigger the arbitrary software functions would be nice to have, like an on-off relay control for Starlink, firewall, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, and having off issues can clean shutdowns prior to power down. I like it. Yeah, I have a little button that's over there that triggers the software power down on my Raspberry Pi. That I wired up with the GPIO pins. When I press it, it basically is like pressing the button, the soft button on your machine to tell it the signal to shut down safely, which is kind of nice because, you know, since that's encased inside of a picture frame, the alternative is just to pull the power, which kind of works, but it corrupts files every now and then. So I bought a little switch and put it in there, and I press the button. When I see things turn off, I'm like, okay, safe to shut down. But yeah, it sounds awesome, man. So many great ideas. I've got a 17 decibel 17 dB Wi-Fi Yagi to roof mount and put a rotor on too. That'll be a winner's project. Man, I need to see this RV. How have I not seen this RV that you're wiring up with with a whole entire home lab inside? Sinless. So when setting up my second server for K3S, I end up with an error because the CA cert fails. That's not good. Shouldn't. When you set up your second one, you just point it at the load balancer that the first one is also registered to, and it should be good. Let me know or paste a screenshot in Discord. Let's figure it out. PC Geek, there's also that plugin for TrueNAS too, Tim. It's agentless. Oh yeah, a Sigra. They only give you 10 clients though for free. You sent me that in Discord, and I looked at it. It's super interesting. Super interesting. So basically, native integration, a plugin to work natively with TrueNAS to back up your machines. You sent that to me. It sounds super interesting. I'll have to look at it some more. Looked like their site was pretty new. At least I could kind of tell that it was newer site, and so I'm like, do I want to send my data there? But yeah, I'll look at it again. SNMP, I think you said SMTP. Sorry, you're exactly right. I did say SMTP. SNMP traps. Thank you. Thanks for the correction. I knew what I was talking about. For some reason, got the acronym wrong. Yeah, not simple mail transfer protocol. Biotoxin. My Wake on LAN idea was actually to shut down things when they're idle and bring them back up when needed. Okay, so just as easy. Not just as easy, but very similar. Very similar. Yeah, just. If there are Linux machines, you could use something like Ansible to SSH and shut down those machines. Super easy with Ansible for sure. But sounds awesome. Just how do you know when they're idle? That's it would be a combination of querying for, I don't know, CPU. How do you determine a machine's idle? Is a process running that you check for and you say, hey, is this process running? No, it's not. I'm considering you idle. Or is it the CPU's under a certain threshold? Is it RAM's under a certain threshold? Disk activity? That one's tough. That one's tough to figure out. I'd love to ideate on this one too, because I've had similar ideas where I have whole entire servers. Like one server I turn it on only for like an hour every couple days because it's a local backup. And I'm not running this thing 24/7 to only do a backup every couple days. So I manually turn it on. So I'd love to, I could do that piece because I know how long it takes to run the backup. But if I could figure out, some kind of metric to figure out when something's idle, that's awesome. Let me know. SNMP, sorry. You guys all got me. Yeah, good catch. Sinless. Also, how would you set up Nginx for load balancing? Every time I tried, it doesn't work. Sinless, I have this in my documentation. Setting up Nginx as a load balancer for Kubernetes. It's in my documentation for K3S. If you go there, it's there. I have my Nginx config. It's all in that video too. I talk about it. But basically, you can do it in Docker, or you can do it just plain old install. If you do it with Docker, you don't need the extra module comment. I think it might have been PC Geek who opened a pull request to fix the config or add a comment to say, hey, if you're not doing it in Docker, you need to enable this module. Otherwise, Docker has it enabled. But it's in there. I think it's a stream module. Anyways, but Nginx isn't only a reverse proxy. They can also do TCP and UDP load balancing, and that's in that documentation. Okay, I did go a little bit over because I said I was going to, and I think I do need to wrap it up though, for sure, because wife, yeah. I won't go into details, but yeah, usually I end around 4, but I'm going to look for mentions or where it says my name. So Merst, Perders, have you ever set up a root CA that isn't using Let's Encrypt? I have not. Got any tips? I have no tips. I apologize. I know that people in our Discord server have for sure. I have not. I have not set up a root CA. I mean, I think I did like a long time. I'm talking like probably 10 plus years ago. I had to do it for some system, either that or yeah. But I haven't done it in a long time. Yeah. So have I done it before? Sure. I think it was on Windows because we had to issue certificates to sign code and issue certificates internally for machines. But if I had to do it again, it would be a hack at best, and it wouldn't be on Windows either. So haven't done it any time in the recent past, but I don't have any tips. Wish I did. Ping us in Discord. We'll figure it out. Let's see. I apologize. I'm going to look for mentions or my name, which I'm going to scan really quick. Piece of Geek. I was looking for it, and they discontinued the cherry coffee one. Oh, it's such a bummer. Such a bummer. Yeah, I thought it was just getting sold out, but they probably discontinued it, which is unfortunate. Wow, I made it to the end of the comments. I didn't even have to do that. Awesome. Don't need to install a certain tell it was trusted root CA. Okay, so hey guys, man, really appreciate you tuning in today. Thank you for taking a little over an hour out of your time on a Saturday. I know you guys got lots to do and probably super interesting stuff, so I appreciate you taking a time out. And also, if you haven't already, I would highly encourage you to join our Discord. I know I've mentioned it at least 15 times during here, and I'm not doing it just to promote it. And I'm doing it because we actually have a large community of people. I think I think we're up to 4,500 people that are in the Discord that talk about all kinds of stuff. Talk about tech stuff, home lab stuff, technology, IoT, pets. I'm reading the list right now. Containerization, networking. Hypervisors, hardware, storage, automation. If that sounds interesting to you, absolutely you should join the Discord. And I will say it's not, it's a bunch of people who are just love tech in general. So it's just a good place. It's a good place for tech chit chat. If you're bored at work one day and just want to read some awesome stuff about what's going on in tech and home lab, it's a good place to do that. And plus, there's a lot of help. I can't believe all of the help that people offer and give. And I say this, every now and then, but I can't thank everyone enough that helps out in the Discord server, especially the mods. They do an awesome job to where I don't need to do much to manage the server. They've handled it all. But also, a lot of people are just helping other people too. So if that sounds good to you, I encourage you to join. If not, maybe next time or later on. Save the link. So I will be back. I will absolutely be back next Saturday. Maybe I'll have something out this week. I'm trying to get caught up on my backlog of videos and try to do shorter, not less ambitious ones, but ones that just don't take me like a week to edit because those are hard. So anyways, have a great Saturday. Like I said, join the Discord. If you need something, ping me on Twitter, ping me on Discord, and I'll try to get back to you. So have a great Saturday, and as always, be good to each other. Take care, folks.